The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. There was also a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher. She was advanced in years, having lived 7 years with her husband after her marriage, and then as a widow until she was 84. She never left the temple, but worshipped night and day with fasting and prayer. And coming forward at that very time, she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to all who were awaiting the redemption of Israel. When they had fulfilled all the prescriptions of the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own town of Nazareth. The child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. This is the good news of our salvation. We were mentioning in our reflection yesterday that St. Luke is interrelating, interconnecting the revelation of God in the Old Testament and the new revelation that comes with the Holy Family. And we were mentioning he symbolizes this interconnectedness with the persons of the Old Testament being elderly: Zechariah, Elizabeth, Simeon, and now Anna. But also, he is contrasting in his community the role not only of the members of Christian communities during the apostolic period that he was writing his gospel for, but also the women. The early church was not dominated by men, as if they were the only ones who knew who Christ was and could share that intimate knowledge with others. St. Luke is extraordinary in his sensitivity to the role of the feminine in human society, in human communities, in human families, and in the Christian church. From its very beginning in the life of Jesus himself. In his gospel, he mentions in chapter 11 a woman standing up and praising him for his message. And she praised him by saying concretely, "Blessed is the womb that bore you, and the breasts that nursed you." And Jesus replied, "More blessed are they that hears the word of God and keeps it." He was praising Mother Mary for her devotion to him and the positive role she played in revealing to him his social obligations, how to live the Mosaic law, not only the 10 Commandments, how to relate to people, not only men, but women also. And in the Gospel of St. Luke and the Gospel of St. John, we have Jesus again being sensitive to women. Mary of Magdala, the woman in the house of Simon the Pharisee. He was tender, consoling, comforting, and forgiving. This was Jesus sharing in his public life what Mother Mary had taught him about the dignity and the destiny of not only men in this world, but women also. And that is why we have Mother Mary and Anna in this passage at the end of the stay in Jerusalem and the return to Nazareth, where Jesus will spend the rest of his life until he begins his public ministry. We have, therefore, indicated in this last phrase of St. Luke the summary of his life and what we call the hidden life from the time they returned, Mary and Joseph and the baby, to Galilee, to Nazareth. He would grow strong, not only in body, but in wisdom. Yes, he had emptied himself from being the Word of God in the realm of the divine to enter and experience everything that each one of us experiences in this world, including growth in understanding and in wisdom, as well as physical progress. He, therefore, emptied himself by entering the womb of Mother Mary, living there for 9 months, and then in Nazareth for 18 years after the finding in the temple. Learning to be a carpenter's son, learning how to live in a family, in a community, in a Jewish society at that time in the history of the world. He assimilated all these language, behavior patterns, and values, so that when he began his public life, he knew what he was talking about, not through theory, but through practice. That Jesus, who is so human and yet so divine, is the Jesus that we love and who interrelates with us, not only during this Christmas season, but throughout the year. If we love him and allow him to love us in return.